Hey everybody, this is grep command. We'll be looking into a couple of use cases of the grep command. And so let's start. So grep basically stands for Global Regular Expressions Print. So what it lets you do is run checks on files to kind of check for a pattern in a file. And there are multiple variations to this. A very common way is to check for a pattern in a file or all the files in a folder. Like it will recursively check in all the files in a folder, or you could just check from the data coming in from the standard input. So you could just say echo hello world, and the data coming in from there, you could just you could just pipe that and grep it. So we will do a couple of examples. All the data for the dummy data for the examples are available in this blog post. I'll be putting this in the description of the video. So I will open my terminal. I have these files here. So we will start with the file name.txt. You can just rename it to anything you want. What I have here is 3 lines saying 1, 2, and 3 in three different lines. And the way what I'm going to do is, let's say I want to match the pattern TWO or 2. So what I'll do is grep and give the pattern. So I want to say match to and say file name.txt, or just give the file name of the file I want to match. So if I do this, it matches me to. But if I were to kind of check with, if I were to kind of update my file, so if I open Vim, make this in block letters, and if I were to do the same, this won't show up, right? So to make this search case insensitive, I could go ahead and do grep -i and just do the same, right? So I could just say grep -i, give the pattern two file name.txt. Now that happens. Now there are obviously a lot of kind of flags you can do. So if you just say man grep, you can always just go through the docs and figure out all the necessary items or necessary control patterns you can provide, and we'll look into a couple of them. So say I want to match, let's say, prices.html, right? So let's say I know I've got HTML file here. I want to know how many prices are available in this file. So I kind of know, okay, there you go. I've got price, and let's say class equals price or the p tag. So I know this is intended, and all I have to do is kind of provide this pattern, right? So what I'm going to do is say grep, and I'll provide my pattern. So which is, I'll provide -i and say p tag class equals and escape this, and let's say price of, was it prices or price, right? Let me just confirm. So if I say Vim prices, the name of the class here is price, and I can go here, price, escape this, oopsie, do this, close that off, and give the file name. There you go. So that matches, correct? And say, suppose I just want the account. I don't care about the actual values. I can just do, you pipe that into a word count and say WC -L, and I would get the number of items in that list. So you could also kind of echo this instead of kind of using the grep pattern and file name mode. You could always go ahead and say echo prices, right? Sorry, echo, no, sorry, cat. You could just say echo into the terminal. You do cat prices.html, so that would do that. And instead of doing this, I could just provide my pattern and say cat prices.html and pipe this, and it would just produce the same result. I could just put in one pipe and say WC -L, word count minus the number of lines. It would just produce the same result. Now, say I want to kind of work with this JSON data, correct? And if you look at this JSON data, they've got email alice at example.com. There are duplicates, right? So if I do a Vim search, I have duplicates here. The way I can figure out for duplicates or look for duplicates is a very common thing often I do when I'm working with JSON data, right? I can just do cat data.json, right? And grab this and say -i alice at example.com. And let's see what happens. There you go. We have 2 items, and I can use the -c flag to kind of say, I do not care about the actual text. I just need the count. and there you go, right? Instead of piping this into another output, you could just say minus C, like it just produces the entire exactly same result. So if WC minus L, it's the same result. Now, there are a lot of other things you could do with the grep. You could always do regular expression matching. At some point, regular expression matching is kind of difficult. It's slightly better to use the stream editor std command or advanced word processing tool called awk, right? So this is all about grep. Thank you for watching.